Hello and welcome to this edition of Tips and Tricks. Now today I'm going to be talking about going small in the fall. Now I say that to most fishermen, they're like, well, what are you talking about? It's fall time. Fish are getting active, the fish are feeding up, they're gorging. Why would I go small? I mean, why wouldn't I throw something big? Well, the fact is, when you get to the fall, there's a lot of small bait around. I mean, your bluegill, your red ear, your sunfish, you have your shad, you have your crappie, you have your shiners, herring. All those things have spawned, and spawn, into summer, into sometimes middle of summer. And a lot of their fry net are still very small, they're 2-3 inches. And this bait is everywhere. And usually in the fall, they start to head into the shallows and they start trying to feed up themselves before going into the winter. So the bass, yes, anyway, they're hungry and they're feeding and they're really active. They're used to a lot of small bait around. I mean, they're feeding on little things that are 2 and 3 inches. So why would you go big? I mean, you want to match the hatch. You want to give them what they're used to feeding on. I just did a tournament, an FLW, in middle of October at Clear Lake. Clear Lake, most people think, oh, big swim baits, big crankbaits, big surface lures. No. The top 10, most of them were fishing little 2 1/4, 2.5 inch square bills. The Conger that won, drop shotting a little 2 and 3 inch drop shot bait. Because there's silver sights there, and the silver sights were everywhere. And these things only get like 2 or 3 inches long and they're only that tall. But they were everywhere, and that's what the bass are feeding on. They're lazy, it's an easy meal, they can just pick and choose and just munch on all these little things and just fill themselves up. So little baits worked. Go to Pinot. Same thing. You got in the fall. There's a lot of little golden shiners in there. There's a lot of little crappie in there. That's what the bass are feeding on. A lot of fishermen as started getting the fall. We're fishing, their 6 inch, 7 inch Senkos, big worms, trying bigger crankbaits. They said the bite was getting slower. I went smaller. I went to the 4 inch. I went to a 3 inch. Went to our jerk bait. Anyway, it's a 5 inch. It's small and real thin, and had a great time catching a lot of them. Because in the fall, there's so much small bait around, and a lot of it's starting to die off. They're not used to the cold weather. They're not used to the algae disappearing, and it's an easy meal for bass. So I'm telling you, in the fall, go small. You will find yourself catching a lot more fish, a lot more consistent fish, and usually bigger fish. So, go small in the fall. I hope this helps. Until next time. All right. After the FLW, I'm coming to the shore, and I catch this big boy. It's probably about a 4.5. Might be a 5. True Hamilton's not tournament day. It's so easy I just threw out there in this little spot, about 5 feet from shore, and caught this big boy. A little 4 inch gotcha stick, flicking it just the way I was in the tournament. Well, at least I did catch one big Clear Lake bass.